Is Brock Bowers going to play this weekend against the Ole Miss Rebels? That is the big question in Athens, Georgia this week. And after reaching out to several sources close to the Georgia program, some of them inside the Georgia program, I'm starting to think that Brock Bowers will play this Saturday when the Ole Miss Rebels come to town. Biggest game of the college football week, night game in Sanford Stadium. Georgia's undefeated. Ole Miss has only lost one game. Monster game. And I think Brock Bowers will play in this game. Now, I don't know how much, and I don't know this to be a fact. I'm not 100% sure, but the people that I trust close to me that know the program very well, I think are leaning on him playing in this game. Now, it might just be a few snaps. It might be a lot more. But it would not surprise me at all to see Brock Bowers get 2, maybe 3 catches in this game. Maybe he doesn't play in the first quarter or the first half, and they're playing really well. They blow out Ole Miss, and they don't need Brock Bowers to play, right? That could be something that we see, but from what I can tell, there are several people that have been correct with me on information before who think that he is going to play. He's the best player in college football, not named Caleb Williams, and I think maybe he's past Caleb Williams, but this is what Kirby Smart had to say earlier this week about Brock Bowers. He said, he's working hard. He's doing all he can in terms of trying to get himself in shape and get better. I mean, he's back running now on dry land, and we're hoping that he keeps getting better. That's the kind of the MO on this injury. You know, every kid we've had so far that's had it, week 1 they do this, week 2 they do this, week 3 they do that. He's right on schedule for the things he's been doing. Now, when this injury happened against Vanderbilt, 3 to 6 weeks. That's what we were told. At first, I expected him to possibly play against Tennessee and then more, against Tech and the SEC Championship. I thought he'd be ready for all that. But coming back against Ole Miss, if he does, and I think he's very, very close. If he does not play, I do expect him to play at Tennessee. It just shows you how much of an alien this guy is. I mean, 3 weeks at the earliest, and he's right back. Right? I think today, if they had to play, he's 26 days away from surgery. So the guy is just built different. We've always known that, right? And we see it on the field. The talent is incredible. He's one of the best Georgia Bulldogs in program history of all time. Might be the best tight end in college football history. I mean, the accolades are there. Dude's a college football Hall of Famer. And if he leads Georgia to a national championship, which would be his 3rd, he'd go 3 for 3 at Georgia, 3 national titles. You would have to put him on the list of best college football players ever. Not just tight ends, but he's up there with some of the best to ever play this game. And the fact that he's coming back, he's already working hard. I think Marcus Rosemy, Jack Saint said that he hit 20 miles per hour on the GPS during practice. There are a lot of people who are like, man, this guy is just different. Everything he does on the field is impressive, but his work ethic coming back from this injury has also been incredibly impressive. Dude just works hard, and he loves Georgia. And a lot of people inside the program, when I reached out, hey, is Brock going to play this week? Could he play next week? How's he feeling? How's he running? They had no problem telling me, like, this is what we expect out of him. We're not surprised. And this is Brock being Brock, basically. Now, we all know the story. He was in high school in California. COVID, the folks in California said, no, we don't want to have high school football for COVID, blah, blah, blah. It's a bunch of nonsense. Well, Brock Bowers did the training videos. He was working harder than anyone. The fact that he played as well as he did in 2021 without playing high school football as a senior in 2020 due to the crappy rules out there just shows how amazing this guy is as a player. I mean, he was working hard day after day after day, all day long during COVID, was sending Georgia the tapes of him running up and down the mountains and lifting, doing everything he needs. The guy's incredible. It's not a surprise that he's coming back when he is. Let's look up some numbers, right? He is still, as I try to get them in front of me, still number 1 in receptions on the team. He's got 41 catches, 2 more than Dominic Lovett, who has 39. He's got 567 yards, averaging 13.8 yards a catch, 4 touchdowns, 81 yards a game. He is a difference maker. And while Georgia didn't necessarily need him against Florida, they blew out the Gators like they have for the 3 years in a row now. They didn't need him against Missouri, 9-point win, right? 2-possession win. It would have been nice to have him out there. They probably win that game by a little bit more, but this is a perfect time to get him back. You want him to play in this game before Tennessee. I just think as a coach, you want to get his feet wet a little, back to normal, back to a routine, and build some of that confidence back of making plays on the field before the big game at Tennessee. But Ole Miss has a really good offense. I think they are going to move the ball on Georgia a little bit. I'm thinking 35-24 type of game. Ole Miss can play, and now's the time where you need your best player, because I've said in the past, you want to see Georgia play their best. I don't think we've seen Georgia play their best all season long, even against Kentucky in a blowout win. Still felt like Georgia could have played a little better. Same thing against Florida. As well as they played, they could have played better. They have not reached their peak as a team, and they won't until Brock Bowers comes back. It looks like he will play in this ball game. It's going to be a massive, massive deal. Carson Beck has played very well, but he's getting his best player back, his best pass catcher, one of the best players in college football, coming back to the #1 team in the country. It is going to be big deal. I can't imagine the crowd erupting in Sanford Stadium when Brock Bowers' name comes up on the Jumbotron as a starter the first time he takes the field, right? The first time he catches a pass. If he scores a touchdown, place is going to erupt. A lot like Todd Gurley when he came back against Auburn 2014 from the suspension. Remember, he went off the 100-yard kick return, right? The place was going bonkers. Same thing with Brock Bowers. When he hits the field for the first time in that environment at night, the crowds should be crazy. And I'm going to challenge the Sanford Stadium crowd too. Y'all have been elite in the past. You were not elite against Missouri, and I think people who were at that game would say the same thing. Way too much kind of nervous energy, a lot of quiet. I was hanging cameras up in the level 300, and I'm not trying to hate on the old folks, right? But if you're 65 or older and you can't make noise, give your tickets to your grandson, okay? Give them to your son, and he'll take a friend. He'll take his son, whoever. If you're not going to be loud, do not come to this game. I don't care that you've been coming to Georgia games for 30 years. I don't care how long you've been a season ticket holder. If you're one of these old people who are taking up these seats, Sanford Stadium, why don't you take a pass this week, okay? Give it to someone who can yell and scream and get loud. That's what we need, okay? And I get there's a very older fan base who've been coming to games for years, and they're the sit-down crowd, and they're not up and yelling every play on third down, and they're just there to enjoy the game, right? Can't happen. Not this weekend. Hope you enjoyed the Missouri game, but we need people loud and electric in the seats for this game against Ole Miss. Last home game of the season. Let the young bucks, right? 50 years and younger, get all the seats. That's going to trigger a lot of the old folks watching this. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. But this needs to be an elite environment. And if you can't yell your lungs out and you can still talk on Sunday, don't be showing up to Sanford Stadium on Saturday night when the Rebels come to town. I do think Brock Bowers is going to be there, though. And again, I'm not saying he's going to play 30, 40 snaps, right? But I think he will see the field if he continues to, progress, I guess, over the next 3 days. He's only going to get better over the next 3 days, but apparently he's running, he's cutting, he's catching the ball. He's starting to look like old Brock Bowers again. And a lot of people are very excited. A lot of people, close to the program and inside the program have told me, yeah, we think he's going to play. And we're very excited about it. We're very happy about it. So always good to get your best player in college football, best player on the team back for this late stretch of the season. They're going to need him on the road against Tennessee. They're going to need him at home. We've seen what he's been able to do against Georgia Tech. And you definitely need him in the SEC championship game, which I think they'll be there. I guess it's a little premature to say that. It's a little premature to say that they're going to the playoffs too, but it's looking like right now they should be able to make it to the playoff. And again, big deal. It's been the talk of the week, talk of the town in Athens. When is Brock Bowers going to play? A lot of people like myself have been told, hey, don't be surprised at all if he does play. Now, I'm not saying this as a fact. It's not 100%. But from what I'm hearing, he has progressed well enough to be able to possibly see the field this weekend. A little ahead of schedule, even though it's been slightly over 3 weeks now. But it hasn't taken 5 or 6 weeks for him to feel good again. I think he will be back out there against Ole Miss. Wouldn't be surprised if he caught 2, 3, maybe more balls, depending on how he's feeling, depending on how the game is going. Either way, I think number 19 is going to be out there and in a position to make some plays on Saturday. Biggest game of the week. This is Ole Miss's Super Bowl. This is one of the biggest games in program history. Not because they're playing an undefeated team in November, but they're playing the Dogs. They're playing the two-time national champions in Athens. That's why it's a big game. It's because they're playing Georgia. Yeah, Brock Bowers, I think he's going to play. Thanks for watching this video. Sign up to our free newsletter. That link is down below. We got content pumping out left and right over on Dawg Post right now. If you're enjoying these videos, go read. I try to make jokes in my stories. See if you can go find them. We'll see. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you over on Dawg Post.